Good evening once again, everybody, and welcome to your live Investment Dominator Q&A call. And again, I'm Warren Davis, and we're here on Monday. It is the 4th of November, and just excited to realize Thanksgiving in just a few weeks, right around the corner. So we are here to get your questions answered and make your progress in your respective businesses, and just hope that everyone had a great weekend and that you got some questions for us today. We're going to do a quick sound check and make sure you can see my screen. That says basically tells you all about the great features of the Investment Dominator and what it handles for you. So if somebody out there could give me a yes, we can see your screen and we can hear you. My indicators show that I am coming through loud and clear. I would appreciate that. All right, thank you, Bill. Sounds good. Okay. So for those of you that are new with us, we're going to, all good in Seattle. All right, great, Don. We're going to get your questions answered here. And for those of you that need to know how to send in your questions, just go ahead and in your control box, which you should have in front of you, go ahead and type in your questions and hit the send. Again, if you're new, don't worry about raising the hand. I seldom am able to see that. But in any case, we're gonna go over. We have a variety of questions that came in. I think pretty much over the weekend, and since we last got together on last Thursday. Plus, we had a couple of questions that were left over from last Thursday that I will address today. So the whole idea is to get your questions answered. And let's see if there's any. The only public service announcement I have is going to be, that's actually two public service announcements. Number one is the webinar for a week from this Thursday, not this Thursday, but a week from this Thursday, the 14th of November, we will be in the Maximizer, two-day Maximizer workshop. So that particular webinar will be canceled. I probably won't, oh my gosh, something just dawned on me. I probably won't cancel that one until like around Monday time frame. But it just reminded me I need to determine if next Monday, if we're going to be able to be on with you, or we might have someone stand in for us on next Monday. But anyway, at this time, we're planning to have a webinar next Monday, but that following Thursday, so a week from this Thursday, we'll have to cancel that webinar. And we just want to make sure that you all may put that in your calendar, and I'll cancel it so it won't even show up, so you won't even be able to access it should you forget. Okay, and then what we do want to cover, just real quickly, when we have, let's see, do I have my, I tell you, this has been quite a day. It's been a good day. It's just been a very, very busy day. And so, need to bring up my Investment Dominator screen. For those of you that will be attending that workshop, and don't know how many of you on the call that is, but we always talk about the big three. And what exactly is the big three? The big three items that we have you complete for that workshop. Those of you that have already been through it know what those are. We basically, under my profile, we want you to have your profile set up, have a signature in the system before the two-day workshop, because we will be producing documents out of Investment Dominator that will require having your signature on those documents, like all the neutral letters that come out of Investment Dominator need to have your signature. And then after you get the signature set up under Customize, your company information. And I've been getting a lot of questions regarding, setting up the phone system, like this company phone, and setting up the offer phone, how exactly you can do that. And for those of you that I've been sharing with on the onboard calls, you know that you can set up a Ring Central number, I won't go into it in too much detail because it takes a while to actually cover. But Ring Central could handle your offer phone and your company phone. It would be one phone number, but two different extensions. Like press 1, the customer when they call in, press 1 if you're interested in selling us your land. Press 2 if we have sent you an offer and you're interested in discussing that offer. Those could be the two extensions. And then I'm recommending that you have a separate cell phone for your third number, which is your selling site phone number. Completely separate from all of your sellers that might call in wanting to sell you property. You don't want your buyers on your selling site accidentally going into even your area where your sellers would be reaching out to you. So if you have any more questions on that, you can type them in and we'll get those answered, because I want to make sure you understand how to use those phone numbers. So those are the big three things that we're talking about that need to be handled before you come to the 2-day workshop. I actually only handled 2 of them. I see that question coming in there, Pauline, and I'll get to that in just a moment. The last section that we're going to look at, what needs to be handled before the 3-day workshop, is setting up of your website selling and your website buying domains, this here. And that's an entire process that's handled through we type in custom domains. There's work that we're recommending you go to through GoDaddy, but said how to change your website's domains. And we're recommending that you go through GoDaddy and you do this list of 14 steps here to set up your selling site and your buying site domains. The most important thing, one of the most important things, is you want your WWC name record on the GoDaddy side to point to your investmentdominator.com server, so that when people access your site, the records will be displayed from the Investment Dominator server. So this is a list of steps that you do on the GoDaddy side. Once you're done with this list of steps on the GoDaddy side, you'd come back in, go to Customize, and then you're ready now to change your domain. So you actually would hit this button, Change Your Domain, and type in your domain. Okay. So this is where you would enter your domain that you purchased from GoDaddy and hit yes. You pointed that via the WWC name record and hit next. It'll ask you to confirm. And then when you confirm, your website or your domain that you purchased from GoDaddy should show up there. Now, that stated, we have had some confusion around when you purchase those domains, when will you actually be able to access them? When do they show up? And this is what I'm letting individuals know. Once you do purchase, oh, that's not what I wanted to show. Once you do purchase the domains, it's important to, I guess I didn't have that up, thought I did. Okay. You go on to GoDaddy.com and you log in. Okay. Just maybe this for everybody. This is one of the items that I discuss with all of you that are on the onboard calls. But once you purchase these domains that show up, they don't show up right away. So you won't see them right away so that you can access them. So to give you an example, individual may purchase a domain, yesterday, or if it was Tuesday, they purchased it on Monday, and they're expecting to have access to these domains so they can come over and manage them and search for them, but they want to see them display on GoDaddy like you see on my screen. But if it's been less than 24 hours it's questionable whether or not that domain will really be accessible. And if it's not accessible, it's only because it hasn't been long enough period of time for that domain to propagate on the GoDaddy side. So that's another reason why we don't want folks to wait until the actual 2-day workshop, because setting these domains, once you buy them, it takes GoDaddy at least 24, 48 hours to actually have those domains set up properly so that you can access them and you can manage them. So just want to make you aware of that. That's understanding. Give yourself, at least 2 days before the workshop to make sure you have your domain set up. And that's that's all I'm going to preach on that one. So hope that that's clear. Let's see. We had a question earlier. Ring Central, regarding Ring Central. And Pauline asked, does Ring Central, does it include Pat Live somehow? Doesn't it? No. There's a little confusion there too. Pat Live included with Ring Central. And I think the confusion comes in when we talk about Ring Central, and basically if you, under customize, looking at your company information, talk about Ring Central being, you can have a company phone and you can have Ring Central handle your offer phone at the same time. So it'll be the same number. And the only thing is, when your prospects hit a 1, if you're interested in selling the land, Ring Central forwards that call to Pat Live, which Pat Live issues you an 800 number. So Ring Central simply has a phone number that you've communicated to them, and when the customer hits a 1, they simply forward that call and Pat Live answers the call. Ring Central and Pat Live are 2 separate organizations, and they're not at all connected other than your number that you give them to be forwarded. So then the offer phone, same thing. If they hit 2, you can have this forwarded to either a personal cell phone or hopefully a business phone, or a Google Voice number where they can leave a message. But definitely Ring Central and Pat Live are not connected in any way. Okay. That being said, on the same note, let's see. Okay, Amy's asking a good question there, which definitely not Amy. Amy's asking, does she need a company phone? Because that sounds like all separate phones. Company phone, a Pat Live number, a buying number, and a selling number. No, that's at least 4 different numbers. And at the most, just for those of you that are at this stage, at the most, you would need a company phone, which is actually going to print on your neutral letters. Our company phone goes directly to Pat Live, because we have Pat Live as a call service to handle our prospect calls. So we have a Pat Live number. Then we have an offer phone number, which is actually an UMA number. This is just the way our company is set up. A lot of new students are not doing it like this. So we have a separate number, which is an UMA number, O-O-M-A. And UMA is a voice over IP phone that runs through our internet. And the only reason why we picked that one at the time, we didn't know about Ring Central, and a lot of, not a lot of folks at the time when we got in the business were using Ring Central. So we opted to use UMA for our offer phone. So when the individual calls our offer phone, that's a physical phone sitting in our office. And when that phone picks it up, if we don't answer it, it takes a message, and then it's got got our voice on there saying leave a message if you're interested in talking with us about your offer. And when it does take a message, it sends us an email to our company email address. So no matter where we're at in the country or where we're traveling, we can always get our messages. Now you can call them back through a Google Voice number, so they don't have your personal cell phone number. So that anyway would be a separate number. And then we do have a third selling site phone number, which is for our buyers, those that want to buy property from us. And so this is a separate phone that I carry with me wherever I go, so I don't miss any calls for folks that want to buy land. And every time that phone rings, I know it's somebody interested in buying land. But at the most, that's 3 separate numbers that we do have. You definitely don't need a buying and a selling site phone number. So just hopefully, now this of course is being recorded, so you can play this back, this question back, starting at position number or minute number 13, and it will display or talk about everything I am going through right now and showing on my screen, so you could see exactly how we set it up. Newer students are using Ring Central, as I stated, for their company phone and their offer phone, based on the extensions. So, and then they're using a third number for a selling site phone number. Okay, hope that brings a little clarity there. Let me see. Yes, Pauline, you are correct. Ring Central is a little bit expensive. Let's see. And you should be fine, you know, starting with Pat Live. That's what a lot of folks, at least that started around the time we did, were using them. There you go. All right, with my first mailing this week. Congratulations, Leo, going live with your first mailing this week. Site to my sales site, properties at, as far as fix. But in testing today, both buy site and sell site, are leading to your one sell site, buy properties. Okay, is there a fix or do I need to set up from scratch? No, you shouldn't need to set it up from scratch. Okay, so Leo is asking about his buying and selling sites. Okay, Leo, I suspect, and you'll have to look in your Investment Dominator to make sure that what I'm going to say is correct or not correct. But if both of your sites, when you hit your My Sites and your buying site, you said both your buying site and sell site lead to your sell site. Okay. Your buying site, which this is now a new feature that we have for the buying site. If that is the case, and your sell site are leading to the same site, I would venture to say one of the first place I would look is you want to look in your selling site, because that's obviously right, to see what domain name you have here. If you've got a domain that is set for your selling site, which, you know, whatever that might be, when you look in your buying site domain, this should be a completely different domain. It should be the one that you purchased from GoDaddy with your buying site. So that's the first place I would look, is to make sure that both of these domains are different. And that does happen sometime where, you know, students will put in the same, you know, they'll think they're working with their buying site, but they're actually working with their selling site, and they'll put in the wrong domain. So then if that's the case, what you have to do is come in and hit change your domain, and you'll leave the old buying site the same, but you'll make sure this new buying site domain, make sure that that is the actual buying site that you purchased from GoDaddy, and have both of them there right in front of you so you can see. And then you have to go back through, yes, I pointed that to my investmentdominator.com, and you'll hit next again, and it'll ask you to confirm that. And then it should update in the system your correct buying site domain, because it sounds like that's the only one we're missing here is your buying site domain. So hopefully it's just that simple. I don't think anything on the GoDaddy side would be, usually when you set up your domains, I'm on the GoDaddy site right now, and you come in and say DNS, you want to manage zones. There's no way, let's see, once I type in my domain, don't think there's any way for this to be crossed on the GoDaddy side. Usually you're only working with one domain at a time. Let's see if there's a way. I don't think so. Unless, let's see. Each site you would say, you're going to point to the investmentdominator.com, then you'll set up your forwarding. No, I don't really see any way that you could make a mistake on the GoDaddy side if you follow this list of instructions. So I think the issue is on the Investment Dominator side when it came to you actually setting up your domain names. And so that's the first thing I would check to make sure that is correct. It's only showing selling site. Okay. Hopefully that will help at least get us moving in the right direction there. And I'm going to go on with some questions that we had from last Thursday. And one had to do with the VA that I mentioned that can scrub your list, and that came from Lynn. Okay, Your List Hero is the individual that I said on the last call. yourlisthero@gmail.com is a VA that stays pretty busy, and she's very good at scrubbing your list. When we say scrubbing your list, that means you get a big list from the county or from Agent Pro 247, and you want that list put in to Investment Dominator ready format. So let me make sure that I show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay. Sometimes systems don't want to cooperate with it, so imported. Okay. So again, we're looking to get all of your data put into this format with these fields, and so you're ready to bring them into the Investment Dominator. And the Your List Hero, it is actually called Your List Hero, Pauline. Make sure I did record that on the last one, but I will record it again on this one. Your List Hero at gmail.com. This young lady is very good and rather fast, and in my opinion, you're very welcome. And she's very accommodating, and she will really help you to put your list in the right order so that it can now be imported into an Investment Dominator. Okay, let's see. Moving on here from a question we had last Thursday. Really appreciate your all's questions that come in. I just want to make sure I reiterate that because it helps so many people that struggle with the same issues or have the same questions, but just don't speak up. And so I get reports all the time how the webinar really helps answer questions, and it's because of you all asking your questions that make that possible. Some of the questions you ask, I wouldn't even think of. So thank you again for being willing to put your questions out there. Okay, Elizabeth asked a good question from last Thursday. Is it possible to group individual properties by the same owner? We're kind of going to be all over the map here with some of the questions coming in today. So I hope you all that are maybe more seasoned in this will be patient. So the question is there a way, is it possible to group individual properties by the same owner? She recalls that this was an issue when she used Investment Dominator previously, but I can definitely tell you today, Elizabeth, this is no longer an issue. We look right down the question. Possible to group individuals. Individual properties by the same owner, yes. And I want you to know that Investment Dominator does this as you bring your prospect records in. If it finds an owner that it has already come across, it keeps track of the owner's name, how it's spelled, the state the owner's in, their address, and any other information that will make that a unique owner. And let's see. When I'm going here and edit the record, remember each owner has this owner's ID. So if an owner has multiple records in the system, all of those records are going to have the same owner ID associated with them. So let's just say we know of one owner, and I want to find out all the records that that specific owner has in the system. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do owner ID, or remember the letter reference number that you would ask for if a prospect calls in. Pat Live asks for this letter reference because they want to associate that with the owner. And we'll start by looking for owner number 4. And we want to see all the pieces of land in the Investment Dominator that owner number 4 has. So that's all I did. Selected owner reference, owner ID. And then I'm going to say search. And here we go. These are all of the records that this owner currently has in the system. Quite a few records for one owner. So as each owner has a different parcel, and here's one in pending preliminary research without even an APN. But Investment Dominator will go in, and if you look at every single one of these records, it's owner ID number 4. So hopefully that is clear, owner ID number 4, no matter which one of these records you look at. So this is the search criteria that we set up, and this is how you would find how many owners how many records each owner has in the system. I was kind of got sidetracked there reading a question at the same time that I was speaking, and I'll tell you straight out, I'm not one of those people that can multitask, at the same time thinking multiple things. I admire anyone that can do that. I'm just not that kind. I'm serial. So okay, do you have, okay, this is from Amy again, and it's on your list hero. Okay, so Amy, you want to make sure you're clear on this. You have to do something to allow your list hero access to Investment Dominator. No, they're not going to get into your investment dominator. Your list hero person, do we give access to investment dominator? No, here's the way it will go. You will, when you pull a list, let's say you have a list that you pull from Agent Pro 247, got lots of records that you want scrubbed, or you go directly to the county and you come up with a county list of records. I don't have a record or example of a record coming directly from the county, but if you were to have records come directly from the county, they have all kinds of fields in them. Let me see if I have one in my data. I don't think I do. Sample import, neighbor letter. No, most of mine have already been formatted properly. But what I want you to understand is that you're going to get this list of records. It could have several thousands of records on that Excel spreadsheet, that will look something like this. Well, it'll be thousands of records, pages and pages of records. So, and none of these fields up here, up top, your type field, your first name, last name, company, none of these fields will be correct, ready for the investment dominator. They'll have someone else, some other field name in here based on what the county, APN might be called parcel number, property state. It may not even have a property state, or it could be spelled prop STE or prop S state, okay? So bottom line is all of these fields will be different, and the address fields, but you need them to be exactly in the format Investment Dominator can handle. So not only will she strip off all of the unnecessary fields, well, I shouldn't say strip them off, but she'll organize them, but based on your direction, she will pull just the data that you need to bring into Investment Dominator. So you will send her a list of several thousand records in Excel via email, usually. She will send you back, after she scrubs that list, after she puts it in Investment Dominator format with the appropriate headings, she'll send you back that data. So formatted properly. So you do not give her any access to Investment Dominator at all. Once she sends this back, you can then decide, how many records you want to process at a given time. So I hope that's clear. No access to Investment Dominator. The only ones that would ever have access to Investment Dominator to put in your records is under my team. So who might have access to Investment Dominator is Pat Live, Dominator, or Pat Live may have access, or any other user that you might be working with in terms of partners, partnership that you set up an actual ID. You come in here and you add a user, that's the only way they would have access. So you don't have to worry about doing that. So Pat Live, we set up a Pat Live rep to actually log in and put in any notes for our particular records that they're answering calls for. But none of the folks that do, none of the VAs that do anything with our data have access to our Investment Dominator. I want to make sure that is clear. Very good questions, people. Okay, we had another question from Jerry, which a very good business question here. Jerry's business question had to do with, do you recommend? And this is a question I used to get quite a bit. I haven't gotten it too much lately. do I recommend including a self-addressed envelope, okay, with offers that go out? Now, I already want you to know there's going to be several schools of thought on this. So I venture to say some of you might say, well, yes, I definitely would include a self-addressed envelope. These are for any records that go out in pending preliminary research. So you've done your research, these folks want offers. So along with our offer letter that we send out saying how much we're going to pay for that property, these folks would also get a self-addressed stamped envelope that all they have to do is sign the sale agreement and put it in that self-addressed envelope and stick that in the mail. Well, it was our experience as we were doing deal after deal after deal and we did it for almost 6 or 8 months, where we sent out self-addressed stamped envelopes. And I know this is taught actually in LPG, and I can definitely understand, Jack's graciousness in making it very easy for folks just to reply back. That's just the way he and Michelle are. They're very, very gracious, and they try to help people as much as they can and make business easy for people. And I understand his rationale very much. We tried it, and what we ended up, we actually had a couple of cases, or a few cases, not a lot, but a few cases where they kept our self-addressed stamped envelope and they sent us back a scanned, signed contract via email. And, how petty would it be of us to say, oh, hey, what about our self-addressed stamped envelope that we sent you? Since you sent us back you accept our offer, how about giving us back our stamp? And, of course, we would never say anything like that. So we found that, folks, especially the ones that didn't accept our offer, they were just keeping our envelope. And, it became a little expensive, and it's more time consuming and it costs you more in envelopes to, send that out. Now, and again, I do understand Jack's teaching on that. You can do it based on how you want to do it with your business. We couldn't tie it back to any acceptance of offers doing that. The majority of the folks that accept our offers, they either call us on the phone, accept our offer, and then we tell them, okay, we're going and sign that and send us the physical copy back, or sign that, scan it, and email it back to us if you're comfortable with that, and we'll, immediately, we'll start the closing process. So I'm going to I'll defer that to your judgment with your business if you want to include that self-addressed stamped envelope. We opted after about 8 months to stop doing that. Okay, hopefully there's no questions on that. Let's see. Now we do have some new functions in Investment Dominator. I want to get to those. I'm going to share something with you about creating tasks. This is something that one function of Investment Dominator, which is very helpful. We don't use this particular function too much. How to create tasks and assign them in the Investment Dominator. All right, so let me give this my best shot here. So up here on the top menu under tasks, this is something, now tasks are normally used so that you can notify someone with something that's done maybe on a recurring basis. You want to make sure they don't forget to do a particular task that come into play. The way it is in our particular business, we've gone through this process so many times. There's so many things I do on Saturday There's tasks I do on Monday morning. There's tasks I do on Thursday. It's been week after week after week, pretty much the same process, that we don't really need tasks. But I can imagine if we grew to, larger with our, staff, where we had people actually working for us in an office maybe or whatever, and we wanted to make sure that they did not forget certain tasks, I could see creating a tasks here. So under tasks, you would come in and just say add task, and then the status, and I'm going to go through this kind of a high level description of this. In the status field, you can say pending, or a lot of times I would just go and say, it's in progress. You can leave it pending. I haven't noticed it changing anything in the actual functioning of the task. Title, if I want to say remind Pat Live rep to enter offer. Okay, just something, and a description is optional. Location, also optional, but if it's applicable to any task, you could enter a location. And assigned it to, okay? So these are the users that you have set up in your system. So if I want to assign it to my Pat Live rep, and you see here, Warren Davis is also in here, but I can assign it to Pat Live rep. So it's going to come up for whoever you assign it to. Public to all, no, I won't public to all, and I start it, it's saying I could start it today, and we'll say we end it on 11/8 because I don't want this going forever. 5:30, but you can end it whenever you like. You can make it, year down the road if you want. Select reoccursion on, and this option allows you to configure a recurring task that triggers daily or weekly or monthly or annually. So if you say no, it won't actually bring up a pop-up box when they log on. If you say reoccursion on and you say yes, it's going to then try to figure out, okay, how often do you want this to happen? And so every time they log in, if it's on a daily basis or a weekly basis, this task is going to pop up, and it's one of the first things, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a moment. Okay, so if we say yes, it's going to stop popping up every time they log in, and it's going to end, you can have it end at a certain time, you can have it end on a certain date, but it defaults to no end date, so that means it's going to indefinitely keep coming up. Okay, anything in Investment Dominator that you say public, public to, because that's one of us question we have coming in right now. Anything that we specify as saying public to all, if I say yes, that means any of these individuals that you can assign this task to are going to be able to see this particular task pop up. It's not public to any of your customers, but it's public to any of these users that you have assigned in your Investment Dominator account. So I normally leave that as no, because I've specified who I want this task to go to here, and it won't go to everybody. Now, when we come down into the tagging of the owners, this is where it gets kind of a little confusing, but I just want you to know, tag the owner's ID. I can choose certain tags that I've created to be a part of this task. And right now I'm struggling to think of anything that I would use that I'd want to tag all of the owners. And tag property ID is the different land that we have for sale that's in complete ready to sell mode. So if I want tasks specifically for this particular parcel, I'm gonna use the tag, and anytime this task comes up, whoever this task is for is going to know it's for this particular parcel that we're looking at. So if you're dealing with any other parcel, forget about it. This task doesn't apply. So that's how that might be used. Tag contacts. And there are folks that use this, use tags or use these tasks, I should say, quite a bit. So they probably know more than I do on how exactly to use them. Tag contacts. All right, these tag contacts. These are anybody that has shown interest in, a particular parcel or specific properties. So if I have a property ID that I've selected, and I know that this contact, Leonard Wilkins, he has an interest in this particular parcel that we already identified, I'm going to note him as one of the folks that I should contact regarding this. It's kind of a reminder. If you need that kind of reminder, I usually use a calendar. And then tags, of course, are any tags that you've created, period, in the system, you can access at this point and associate with this particular task. Again, this is for tasks that you want folks not to forget. And reminder, so it's gonna, reminder is if you say yes, it's going to pop up as a task that when the person logs on is going to remind them. And I'll show you what that looks like. Highlighted obviously shows you this task is highlighted in the system. And once you're done, you hit finish add task, and your task will be done. It's something that you kind of have to play around with a little bit to make sure that it's going to meet your needs if you have that many individuals that you want to create tasks for. So I'm going to go back here real quick. Okay. Let's say I did a private one here, and I've already added this task. I've already assigned it to whoever I want to assign it to. I've said every day I want it to come up, and I'm going to put my reminder on. Remind me 15 minutes. All right. So I update this task. Now I'm going to log out here. And if it doesn't make a liar out of me, when I log in, into our, okay. I was expecting to see log out again. Let me get back in here. And tour. All right, let me look at my tasks again. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this task, that's what it would look like. Thought it should have come up here, task reminder. It should have come up when, as soon as I logged in, I was expecting this to see this instead of having to wait a few minutes or hit the task. So let me make sure that that is working as expected. I just created the task, or I just set that, so that may be part of the issue, but it's asking like, okay, I have to come up and actually hit the task reminder. But that may be something that you can, perhaps it's set up like that for a reason, because I guess if you want to see whatever tasks you have reminders for, or tasks that you want to actually execute or just check to make sure that your tasks are being done. I guess you could say, well, okay, you have to come up and hit the task menu, and if there's any tasks that have reminders, it pops up for you. So that's kind of a high level view of the task, and I just want to give you some rationale for tagging people and contacts involved in the task. This allows you to easily access the details of that task. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to get too far into there's just another task even on your buyers list. This keeps coming up now. On your buyers list, let me turn this off. Okay. When you go into, I just want to make you aware of this, that when you go into the new prospect function and you fill out all this information on a new prospect, which is a new prospective buyer, when you do that and you add this into the system, you save this, this automatically creates a task as well. And I just want you to be aware of that your task can be created by using the new prospect function. It creates a task for a specific parcel. And I also want you to know that the other tasks that you will create are going to be created by you actually going in and executing the add task. And as you can see, this particular task is already highlighted, so that's the highlighting feature. Okay, a long-winded answer for that one. How you create text. Just one quick moment. Okay, we moved into a new house and Fido next door is not happy. So, yes, Don, I said, let's see. Don is asking, I said new prospect was a buyer. Yes, is a new prospect. Can a new prospect be a buyer? Yes, absolutely. So we have prospects that we're trying to get to sell us their land, but in your buyers list, when someone comes in, look at their type over here. These are all prospects. Anybody that comes into your site, into your let's say your selling site, and they, I have an opt-in page on this one set up for my selling site. Anytime they put in their first name, their last name, and they enter their email address, and they click here for more info, this now, the system captures their email and their name. They end up on this list as a prospective buyer. So that's another term that we call prospective buyers. And I do understand, okay, you might just call them contacts, but they are also in the Investment Dominator called prospective buyers. Going forward. Okay, very good. And oh gosh, I wanted to do that demo for you. You got it. Okay, let's see. Wow, I tell you, we're kind of all over the place here, but I'll probably do a demo for you on Thursday of kind of a neat feature that you can do for websites, their listings, and capturing a 3D image. I think I might wait till Thursday on that one. But one new there's two new functions or new features of Investment Dominator. I have time enough to demonstrate this one or show this one. It's a new feature. Okay, and it's upgraded your buying site. Now this is specifically for your buyer site. And it allows you to have a 2.0 theme or a theme that you might want to generate or customize yourself. So those of you that are interested in having your buyer or selling sites look differently than every other buyer or selling site, you can come under Customize, and we'll look specifically at the buying site. You might have noticed this when I was talking about the domain. But here you see under your buying site theme, this is a new piece of functionality. You can select, and all I'm doing is left clicking on the legacy theme that we have in Investment Dominator, or you can click on this new theme for your buying site, which just really adds a little bit more pizzazz. It kind of makes your site look different than majority of the sites that are coming out of Investment Dominator. Or if you want to upload a custom theme, you are welcome to do that as well. Now the only thing is, let me see here if I can find the article on that. Custom theme. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Let's see. If I can find. Be under buying site. Okay. Scheme. Okay. Let me find that because I'm interested in showing you how I actually got to that. Okay. So I think we put that out on Twitter. Yes, user guide. Okay. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't put I thought we had an article on this. In any case, your sites now can have, depending on what buying site, you can have a theme kind of like this show up so that it changes. Isn't that cool? And we're obviously just for land, so that's why it just has the link for sell your land for cash. But this definitely allows you to have a more custom buying site where you can, folks that want to sell you their property are going to reside. So that's what I want to make sure you knew. And the only way you get to that, again, is going into your management console under Customize, and it's only on the buying site right now. And so you'll scroll down and you'll pick one of these themes. If you have another theme that you're going to upload, you have to check to see what the pixel size for this particular, if you want to do your own custom upload. You have to find out a pixel size that Investment Dominator will accept so that you can have your own custom theme created, and yours will look differently than any other site, okay? So that is all we have time for today. Just want to leave you with this thought, people. Thank you again for tuning in and being with us. The thought for today: if you really look closely, most overnight successes took a long time. And that's a quote from Steve Jobs. You know who Steve Jobs is. In any case, if you really look closely, most overnight successes took a long time. So I want you to have patience with yourself, patience in your business, and enjoy the ride in getting, moving up and getting to the top in your business, and really enjoying from day to day your business processes. That's a challenge. Learn to enjoy your business processes day to day, and you'll remain strong in this business and you'll be very successful. I want you to have a great remainder of the evening, and we will be here Thursday at 12 noon for another webinar. Take care, everybody. Thanks again for joining. Bye-bye.